check, check. Thank you for that somber introduction. My name is Pan. I'm late. Thank you all for being on time. And welcome to our mostly pagan-led remembrance type chapel that will be focusing on grief, journeys through feelings, the changing of seasons, and as many traditions and cultures follow, a liminal space between worlds where we meet spirits and invite the presence of our lost family members and chosen or blood family members. And Walken and Liz are leading us in some music here. Jacques and I will be doing a story, and Kaden online is going to be leading us in a reading a little later, and I think Doe is going to help with some of our songs. So we'll try and get you out of here at the normal time, but we'll see. It's quite an intense thing we have prepared for you. If you have to leave at 11:30, I totally understand. But how about we just dig right in and do a quick centering of our circle space. Do you have a mic?
I guess I should use a mic, right?
Yeah, probably. I can help you, or you can just do them all.
Okay, I'll do it. Okay, thank you, everyone. I'm in the tradition that I'm a part of, in the reclaiming tradition, we often create a circle as part of holding sacred space. So I'm going to do some version of that. Thank you. So we're going to start in the north, calling in the north, and the element of earth, the earth of our bodies, the earth of soil, of stone, holding us, anchoring us. And we look to the east and call in the east and call in air, the air that we breathe, the air, the breath of inspiration, the breath of song, spark of creativity, of our thinking, of our minds, air. Moving to the south, call in the south, call in fire, the fire in our nervous systems, the fire of lightning, fire of warmth, fire of the sun. Welcome, fire. And moving to the west, we call in water, water of our blood, the water that we drink. Water is life. Earth is sacred. Air is sacred. Fire is sacred. Water is sacred. And we look above and below and within, and we welcome in spirit, the fifth element. Spirit is sacred, and the circle is cast. what happens between the worlds changes all worlds.
Awesome. Thanks, Walken. Jacques' going to kick us off with part 1 of the story we're going to lead you through. Do you need a mic?
Hello, can you hear me? Awesome. This is a retelling of the ancient story, ancient Sumerian story of the descent of goddess Inanna. And it's so old and written on rock that some of it couldn't even be translated. So this is a mixture of a number of different translations and a little bit of my own connecting the dots. But this is the story of Inanna's descent. From the great above, she opened her ear to the great below. From the great above, the goddess opened her ear to the great below. From the great above, Inanna opened her ear to the great below. My lady abandoned heaven and earth to descend to the underworld. Inanna abandoned heaven and earth to descend to the underworld. To the dark house, dwelling of Erkala's god, to the house which those who enter cannot leave. On the road where traveling is one way only, to the house where those who enter are deprived of light, where dust is their food, clay their bread. They see no light, they dwell in darkness. They are clothed like birds with feathers. Over the door and the bolt dust has settled. Inanna, when she arrived at the gate of Krenugi, addressed her words to the keeper of the gate. Here, gatekeeper, open your gate for me. Open your gate for me to come in. If you do not open the gate for me to come in, if you do not open the gate for me to come in, I shall smash the door and shatter the bolt. I shall smash the doorpost and overturn the doors. I shall raise up the dead, and they shall eat the living. The dead shall outnumber the living. The gatekeeper made his voice heard and spoke. He said to great Inanna, "Stop, lady, do not break it down. Let me go and report your words to Queen Ereshkigal." The gatekeeper went in and spoke to Ereshkigal. "Here she is, your sister, Inanna, who holds the great divine knowledge." When Ereshkigal heard this, her face grew livid as cut tamarisk. Her lips grew dark as the rim of a kuninu vessel. "What brings her to me? What has incited her against me? I have to weep for young men forced to abandon their sweethearts. I have to weep for girls wrenched from their lovers' laps. For the infant child I have to weep, expelled before its time. Go, gatekeeper, open your gate to her. Treat her according to the ancient rites." The gatekeeper went. He opened the gate to her. "Enter, my lady. May Kutha give you joy. May the palace of Krenugi be glad to see you." He led her through in the first door, but stripped off and took away the great crown on her head, and the second door, and the third door, and the fourth door, and the fifth door, and the sixth door, and the seventh door, stripping her of her clothing at each gate. "Gatekeeper, why have you taken away my clothes? Go in, lady. Such are the rights of the mistress of the earth."
Thank you, Jacques, for starting us off. We're going to take that in and listen to a reading by Caden.
Good morning. I chose the poem Take Care by Michael D. Higgins. Ar Antunes Torres ko tri an soles saur in ere. Nach na Hjúnachin dorach. Mjór chwer bergert. Redaf. Ech Ellen gofwyl tu sechta. Bend mas me let. Leis an gear. Is an tran do vintor. Fefach ach am trena nios dione. Och hele san icher. Dirnta lochel lech Tjog faj do dirotse agus creir na cwfecha dw agis I drio an spiot de monte an neshe I in wile tashe ske bach ach kaunin in agis gach dina ele ach lego bas anashe an airless rechig an turish drio na hovrin na gach dochas zena agus Chris ishe an has nechanas de gach forest again dinge ach extra der running bakrota on Zingen. Tavir erge. Tar avelje. De hele. In the journey to the light, the dark moment should not threaten. Belief requires that you hold steady. Bend, if you will, that the wind the tree is your teacher. Roots at once more firm from experience. In the soil, made fragile. Your gentle dew will come, and a stirring as power to go on towards the space of sharing in the misery of the eye. In rage, it is easy to cry out against all others, but to wake is to die. In the misery of knowing, the journey abandoned towards the sharing of all humanity, hope, and cries is the loss of all we know of the divine. Reclaimed for our shared humanity. Hold firm, take care, come home together. And I turn it back to you.
Thanks, Caden. The first half was in Irish Gaelic, in case you're wondering. Part 2 of Inanna. As soon as Inanna went down to Carnegie, Erishkigal looked at her and trembled before her. Inanna did not deliberate, but leant over her. Erishkigal made her voice heard and spoke, addressed her words to Namtar, her vizier. Go, Namtar, send out against her 60 diseases. Disease of the eyes to her eyes, disease of the arms to her arms, disease of the feet to her feet, disease of the heart to her heart, disease of her head to her head, to every part of her. After Inanna had gone to Carnegie, no bull mounted a cow, no donkey impregnated a jenny. No young man impregnated a girl. The young man slept in his private room. The girl slept in the company of her friends. Then Papasukal, vizier of the great gods, hung his head, his face became gloomy. He wore mourning clothes, his hair unkempt. Dejected he went and wept before Sin, his father. His tears flowed freely before King Enki. Inanna has gone down to the earth and has not come up again. Father Enki said, What happened? What has my daughter done? Inanna, queen of all the lands, holy priestess of heaven, what has happened? I am troubled. I am grieved. From under his fingernail, Father Enki brought forth dirt. He fashioned the dirt into a kugara, a creature neither male nor female. From under the fingernail of his other hand, he brought forth dirt. He fashioned that dirt into a galutar, a creature neither male nor female. He gave the food of life to the kugara. He gave the water of life to the galatur, saying, "Go to the underworld, enter the door like flies. Erishkigal, the queen of the underworld. Erishkigal shall look at you and be glad to see you. When she is relaxed, her mood will lighten. Go to her to swear the oath by the great gods. She will offer you a gift. Ask her only for the corpse that hangs from the hook on the wall. One of you will sprinkle the food of life on it. The other will sprinkle the water of life. Inanna will rise." The Kugara and the Galatur heeded Enki's words. They set out for the underworld. Like flies, they slipped through the cracks of the gates. Erishkigal stopped. She looked at them. She asked, "Who are you? If you are gods, I will bless you. If you are mortals, I will give you a gift." The Kugara and the Galatur said, "We do not wish it." Erishkigal said, "Speak then, what do you wish?" They answered, "We wish only for the corpse that hangs from the hook on the wall." Erishkigal said, "The corpse belongs to Inanna." They said, "Whether it belongs to our queen, whether it belongs to our king, that is what we wish." When Erishkigal heard this, she struck her thigh and bit her finger. "You have made a request of me that should not have been made. Come, I shall curse you with a great curse. I shall decree for you a fate that shall never be forgotten. Bread gleaned from the city's plows shall be your food. The city's drains shall be your only drinking place." The corpse was given to them. The Kugara sprinkled the food of life on the corpse, and the Galatur sprinkled the water of life on the corpse. Inanna rose.
Part 3. Inanna was about to ascend from the underworld when the Anuna, the judges of the underworld, seized her. They led her out through the first door and gave her back her proud garment of her body. They led her out through the second door and gave back to her the bangles of her wrists and ankles. They led her out through the third door and gave back to her the girdle of birthstones around her waist. They led her out through the fourth door and gave back to her the toggle pins at her breast. They led her out through the fifth door and gave back to her the heads around her neck. They led her out through the sixth door and gave back to her the rings for her ears. They led her out through the seventh door and gave back the great crown on her head. They said, "No one ascends from the underworld unmarked. If Inanna wishes to return from the underworld, she must provide someone in her place. For Dumuzi, the lover of her youth, wash him with pure water, anoint him with sweet oil, clothe him in a red robe, let the lapis lazuli pipe play, let party girls raise a loud lament." Then Balili tore off her jewelry. Her lap was filled with eye stones. Balili heard the lament of her brother. She struck the jewelry from her body, the eye stones with which the front of the wild cow was filled. "You shall not rob me forever of my only brother. On the day when Dumuzi comes back up, and the lapis pipe and the carnelian ring come up with him, when male and female mourners come up with him, the dead shall come up and smell the smoke offering." Holy Inanna wept bitterly for her husband. She tore at her hair like esparto grass. She ripped it out like esparto grass. "You wives who lie in your men's embrace, where is my precious husband? You children who lie in your men's embrace, where is my precious child? Where is my man? Where? Where is my man? Where?" A fly spoke to holy Inanna. "If I show you where your man is, what will be my reward?" Holy Inanna answered the fly, "If you show me where my man is, I will give you the gift of divine knowledge." The fly helped holy Inanna. Young lady Inanna decreed the destiny of the fly. "You will live like the sons of the wise." Balili was weeping. Inanna came up to the sister and took her by the hand. Now, alas, your brother shall ascend again with the cycles of the season, and you will help him keep from the underworld forever. When your brother is demanded, on that day, he will stay. When you are demanded, on that day, he will be released. Thus, Holy Inanna gave Dumuzi as a substitute. Holy Ereshkigal, sweet is your praise.
For those of you who have notes, we're just going to make a slight shuffle of timings. Thank you, Jacques, for the story. We are going to combine a bit of what we were hoping to do with longer time, and invite you during this song that's going to come forward to speak out those who are precious to you, who have passed, who have maybe gone to the underworld. And I will repeat that name for the group into microphone. So as long as I can hear you. Or if you'd like to type it in the chat, those of you who are joined us. Liz is going to take us through, and I don't know if Doe's got the words for when we are gone.
So this is a call and echo song, so I'm going to teach it out to you once, and then we'll go through it a couple times, just humming it to allow space for folks to speak their names out. But I'm just going to invite you to ground into your body a little bit after hearing that story from the underworld. You might want to put your feet flat on the floor. You might want to take a deep breath. As we have this season to remember and to honor our dead. So I'll sing a line and you sing it back to me. When we are gone, they will remain. The wind and rock, and the fire and the rain, they will remain. When we return, the wind will flow, and the fire will burn. When we are gone, they will remain. The wind and rock, and the fire and the rain, they will remain. When we return, the wind will flow, and the fire will burn. Ooh, ooh.
If you have any names, feel free to put them in the chat. Dawn and Earl, Sarah Tempest, Colleen Cook, Archie, Tom, Dawn Bredinger, Hector, Lynn, Jeff, Joanne, Grandma Lou, Steve Shapiro, Monica Selby, Juan Manuel Flores. Those lost in Israel and Palestine. Sandy.
When we are gone, they will remain. The wind and raw.
Those whose names are unnamed but precious.
Fire and the rain, they will
Those who are named but unknown to us and still precious.
Return, the winds will flow and the fire will burn. When we are gone, they will remain. The wind and raw.
Thank you, Liz. We're going to take a brief moment to close our circle. It's often a practice to make a container for a moment in time, acknowledging that it is a moment, and moments are always changing, and we are always connected despite the change in our circle. Walk-in, would you like to take us in a finishing of our circle?
Thanks. So we'll begin with sending gratitude to the elements for being with us today, and to Anana and Arish Kagal being present with the story. We thank Spirit above and below and within. We thank water. Water is sacred. We thank fire. Fire is sacred. Thank earth. Air. Air is sacred. And we thank earth. Earth is sacred. With that, our circle is open but never broken.
Thank you so much for sticking around. You can see we packed a lot into chapel today. So really appreciate your presence. And I think there's maybe a theology lunch happening.
Yes. In a few minutes, we'll be right in the intersection. Elliot will be presenting a paper and we'll have some discussion.
So Elliot is up, and is it on the same Zoom or a different Zoom, if anybody is joining us via internets? Same Zoom, so you don't have to go anywhere. Just go get your lunch.
Go get your lunch, come back. Thanks for being with us. Thank you, Pagan Student Group, for leading us today in a very meaningful Samhain, honoring our ancestors. Y'all come back and see us next month. We're going to celebrate gratitude with Mallory and friends. So come back and see us. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.